Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Doug Shoemaker with the Shoemaker Loan Team at Homestead Financial Mortgage, and I'm here with my new friend, Master Sergeant Calvin Dye with the Illinois State Police. How are you, sir?
Doing wonderful, Doug.
Well, man, I'm so glad to have you here. Tell me a little bit about you, man. Tell the team and our audience a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay, so I'm Master Sergeant Calvin Dye Jr. from the Illinois State Police. I'm currently in my 20th year with the State Police. I'm currently assigned out of the Director's Office in Springfield under the Public Information Office. We basically deal with media inquiries and community outreach.
That's awesome, man. So 20 years. What
Yes,
made
sir.
you want to be a state police officer?
Well, when I was in college, I graduated from McKendree University and I majored in sociology. And while there, I got the opportunity to go to a juvenile detention center in Pierre Marquette out near Godfrey with a woman that was from the Prison Review Board. And I got she actually would let me she was hearing their cases to see if they would be released or if they still needed to be incarcerated. And I learned a lot. And it was at that point, I was already considering it, but I knew then I really wanted to try to help people and prevent them from going down the wrong paths in life.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Wow. What do you think, man? Is there a circumstance or an experience since you've been a state trooper that you were really able to make a difference that meant something to you?
Yes, well, I do a lot of, even when I was on the street before I joined the Public Information Office and some of the work units, I've always, my entire 20-year career, did a lot of mentoring, big brothers, big sisters, volunteer coaching with basketball and football. So I always that's a passion of mine, is to help develop and mentor kids, and it's really rewarding when you see them successful and doing the right thing. So that's the what's most rewarding about the job to me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. And I always love to meet people, whatever they do, that absolutely love what they do. You know, it just makes such a big difference. Hey, so everybody, I'm walking down the street one day, and one of my neighbors down the street had driven by, and Don Trell's a state police officer as well. And for any of you guys that don't know, with the Home Foundation and Midwest Wing Fest, we do a lot to try and help our military, law enforcement, and firefighters. And I was talking to Don Trell that day. I like to make donations to different local charities that support that community. And I was talking to Don Trell about you guys, and was there anything you guys had going on that the Home Foundation might be able to help with? And that's when he had kind of mentioned your youth program. You tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that's a lot to tell with the youth program. So proud of it. So blessed to be a part of it. So we're in our 20th year. It's kids, teenagers in between the ages of 13 to 17. It's a week-long residency program. It's not easy. It's a boot camp. They're not allowed any electronics. They're put through a very intense day for 6 days and 6 nights. The military assists us as well. The police officers, we stay there with them. There's a male dormitory, female dormitory. They're not allowed any electronics, no TVs or anything in their rooms. So, in a nutshell, they get up at 5:30 a.m. We show them the military style of making the beds. Shirts have to be tucked in. They have drill and inspection. That morning, they have physical training, PT that morning, and there's a lot of classroom during the day. We have presenters that present on cyberbullying. We have presenters that present on drugs, not to fall victim to peer pressure and utilizing drugs. We have someone from Rankin the last couple of years come over, and that's really helped. A lot of those kids do choose to go that route. We do a few fun things. We take them on a few field trips to SIUE, let them bowl and play softball and arcade games. And SIUE is one of their facilities, has all that to offer. Take them on a fishing derby. So they do some fun things, but the main objective is for them to learn structure and discipline and how to control themselves. Some of them are really struggling to conform with authority. Some of them are court ordered, and some of them, it's very diverse. Some of them want to eventually go into the military, want to eventually become a police officer. And we've had several success stories from the camp.
That's really interesting, man. I wasn't even going to think to ask that, but the makeup of the youth there. Now that you bring that up, that is interesting. That the number of them, some of them have to be there, some of them choose to be there. What do you think the percentage of the kids that choose to be there? Any idea?
Oh, I could. I have the breakdown. The ones that want to be there, it's probably 20%. The ones that have to, well, the ones that were recommended by school counselors or the local school resource officers, probably about 50. And then there's probably about 30% that are actually court ordered, where some of the juvenile judges in the area heard about this camp and how strict it is. And they may have had a petty offense, anything from theft to stolen vehicles as a teen, where something that could lead to that could be charged as a felony. Judges are saying if you complete this camp, we'll wipe that, along with other things. They have to do like some community service. They have to do some wellness. But we've actually had court-ordered kids know what they're up against that can't take it and still want to quit. It's tough. You know, that first day, it's military. You know, we're yelling, screaming at them. I mean, they're pushed harder than they've ever been pushed in their lives, mentally and physically. But we try to tell them that that's how life is. You're going to be pushed in life. And at the end of the day, it's how you handle adversity. So it's planned to put them under the most tremendous amount of stress they've ever been under in their life. Because in life, you're going to have those type of challenges, because some of them are there because when they do get stressed out or adversity strikes, they act out in the wrong way. They fight, they bully, they steal. So we're trying to get them away from that.
Okay, so you're not just introducing them into what it might be to be a law enforcement officer someday. You're actually giving them some life skills.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that aspect, man. Of when I went in the military many years ago, when I was in boot camp, I remember there was, some youth there that the attitudes weren't very good. They were very difficult, challenged individuals. But I was always blown away by, at the end of a different group or training, some of the folks that their hearts changed.
I was getting to that.
Yeah, man, I got a lot of hope for people in humanity. And I believe that when you get people with hardened hearts around people with that have care and love and joy, those hearts can change. What is that experience, man? Well, I guess let me ask, in your normal group of youth that come in each once a year, you do this?
Yes, sir. Yep. Every July.
How many folks are we talking about?
We usually have about 70 kids, 70 teenagers. Yes, 70 teenagers. And this would be a great time to segue into what I was going to say next. So we march out about 30 officers and military, and we're yelling and screaming at them, having them line up. And I have several examples, but one that came to mind as you were just talking was there was a kid, just his demeanor, his body language, he just looked like a troublemaker. And right out the gate, we were probably 5 minutes into the parking lot. We had him get out of line, because we were trying to show him how to do position of attention, and he wasn't doing it. Just the body language was bad. He was throwing his bag down. So we pulled him out of line. A couple of us surrounded him, had him doing push-ups, and he's yelling and screaming. Well, he called one of the female officers use explicit language. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, he's not going to make it to the end of this day. Well, we stayed on him. Obviously that's Sunday, which is check-in, he was probably drawing more attention than any other kid that was there. Still some more attention Monday. Long story short, by Wednesday, you forgot he was there. Just the transfer. I don't know what happened. And we see this a lot, just like you said, in the military, like some of them, something clicked, and one of the officers, I don't know if it was me or someone else, they were lined up for breakfast, and they said, where have you been, to him? And we had him fall out of line, and everyone kind of looked like, where is he? We didn't even realize he was still there. He'd been so quiet. So I don't know if something just clicked or registered. So that's really a good feeling when you see that transformation. That check-in day is that Sunday. Usually by Wednesday, in all of them, you see a transformation.
Well, what do you think the biggest transformation is, man? Is it hard-headedness? Is it what do you think it might be? What's the breakthrough, the average breakthrough?
They start to realize that the bad body language, the talking back, the rolling the eyes, the bad attitude, only thing that's going to get them is fussed at, lectured, and physical training. Where, I mean, we'll have, like, during some of the classroom presentations, you know, if some of them start arguing or what, yeah, we'll just take you right outside, and it's July, it's hot, and put you through some physical training. Some of them just finally get fed up with all the push-ups, the sit-ups, the running in place, and they just fix the attitude.
How much do you think, man, in terms of that attitude, how much does it change on the average person maybe that didn't want to be there from start to finish? And I kind of bring this up, man, the last couple of years with Midwest Wing Fest, the team and I have had a really big goal. I don't know if repatriatize is the right word, but we wanted to create a really big area for the youth of the community where they could meet all the recruiters, they could meet local police officers, they could talk with these local heroes and, see their vehicles. And I just believe we're not going to change the world in 1 year or overnight. But if we create this environment where we can be with these kids and maybe give them a different experience than what they've seen most of their life, we realize that not everybody's out to get them. And that there's a lot of really good law enforcement officers and military and community leaders that, man, if given a chance, would love on them and really try to make their life better. So to that point, what is that what you're seeing overall, that, some of these kids, after being around you guys and realizing that you're not there to hurt them, are we seeing those things?
Yeah. Yes, sir. They graduate that Saturday morning. That Friday night, we show them we have movie night, and we have popcorn in the auditorium for them. We put it on a big projector, and we let our guards down a lot that night. I mean, it's about over, and that's when they'll I done had kids tell me, Sergeant Di, I love you, or I wish you were my dad. And they know that we're not, because we stay there with them. And I have 2 small kids myself, so I'm away from them for a week. And I tell them that once we set the tone that Sunday, after a few hours, I tell them, like, I'm not here. None of us are here just yelling at you because we want to be yelling at you, or fussing at you because we want to be fussing at you. We're here because we care. And I actually, on the screen, put up a picture of my 2 smaller kids. I says, anybody know who these people are? They say no. And the looks on their faces, when I tell them, these are my 2 kids. And when I left to come to be with you for a week this morning, they cried. And right there, they know that I'm not just fussing and on them and lecturing just to be doing it just for fun. I'm doing it because I want to change some of their attitudes, change some of their characters, and want to see them be successful. And me living in this area, and I'm not exaggerating, at least since I've been, this is my 20th year doing it, at least 19th year, I'm sorry. We started in 2006. At least once a week, a kid will holler out. The last time it happened, I was walking through the mall, through the food court. I had parked on that lot by the food court, and 5 kids, Trooper died, Trooper, and I didn't know who they were. We did the camp in 2014. Yeah, I mean, going through a drive-through or wherever I'm at, they'll always remember me, and they always holler out my name and tell me what they're doing, and so that's
really cool, man, to go from circumstances that maybe sometimes are somewhat contentious. They're maybe not really pretty to start on. And that transformation going from that to, man, I wish my dad was more like you.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And some of these kids really come from some tragic circumstances. You hear their stories. Some are foster care or whatever, or grandparent, and some of their stories will physically bring tears to your eyes, where you just want to hug them. You almost feel bad for sending them back home, after they graduate.
Man, that's got to, on one hand, be a really good experience for you, to see some of those transformations. I met Chris Williams with the Eagles Nest in St. Louis. You're familiar with Chris, but
I'm not.
it's a center for homeless veterans. And, he and I were talking quite extensively. We've had him on the podcast, and I just love what they do for our community and our soldiers. But when I asked Chris, like, hey, man, the guys that are at the center, like, what do they really need? And it blew my mind because he was like, man, like,
Some of the smallest stuff.
something as simple as, you know what, man, if somebody just came out and sat with them and just talked with them in a little while, because these are real people just like us, man. And, they might have gone through something terrible that we don't understand or whatever, but these are real men that fought for our country, that sometimes they just want somebody to sit, listen to them, just talk with. And, I bet it's the same for troubled youth, man, because so many of us, looking outside in, we see a kid doing bad and we just say that's a bad kid
And judge them.
instead of taking a deep breath and realizing that, hey, man, you don't know how they grew up, and they maybe did or didn't have a mom or dad, or you don't know any of these things. And so I wonder sometimes just being able to get around you guys and see that, yes, you're tough, but that toughness comes from love. I love what you did showing them the pictures of your kids, man, and giving them, I always say, for every what, there's a why. And if all we do is tell people what, they'll never understand why, and we'll never understand each other. But for you to show your kids and say, hey, you know what, when I had to leave these babies that I love so much, they were really, really sad. You mean so much to me. I'm willing to watch tears come out of my kids' eyes when you be here with you. And that has to make it.
Yeah, my kids don't like me working it. A couple of years ago when my little boy was, he's 5 now, when he was about 2 or 3 maybe. And, I still get almost teary eyed thinking about it. That Sunday's long and it's hot, and they check in at SIUE at, 1 p.m. and, we're out in the heat with them. Well, it's that final night and it's 12:30 a.m. I finally shower, lay in my bunk, and they sent me a video. KMOV Channel 4 had covered the camp, and they sent me the video because as soon as it showed my face on the TV, my little boy hollered out, "Daddy, Daddy!" Just got and I cut that off, and I was pretty emotional, and I was kind of wondering like, oh. That almost made me want to be there with him. And so that following morning, I played that for the class. And I said, so if you all think I'm just here yelling and screaming because it's fun to me, you got it all the way wrong. And I said, I'm not the only one. We have a couple of officers that usually the week we have the camp, it's their birthday, and the one drives all the way from Chicago with the state police all the way down, to Principiate College, over 5 hours during the week of her birthday.
Wow.
So, there's a lot of care. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of, trust. But getting back to your question, a lot of them just, they really need attention. They really need attention. All kids, heck, adults need attention. We all need attention. So, a lot. But where they get the most attention, we have squad time from 9p to 10p every day. And there's usually 2 or 3 officers assigned to each squad. And that's where it's like, where are you from? What did you know? That's where we have a snack with them and, water or juice. But, Officer Grimes from Edwardsville PD last year was able to get some donors to buy a brand new pair of tennis shoes for all the kids. And we heard so many of those kids. The one kid, I didn't see it, but several officers witnessed it. They walked by and he smelt it, and he told the other kid, he's tapping him, laughing. He said, I never smelled what new shoes smelled like. 16 years old.
My God.
Never had a new pair of new pair of shoes.
Wow.
It's a true story.
My goodness. Well, man, I could sit here and talk to you about this all day long because
Me too.
Just absolutely love what you guys do. And I mean, since I was a kid, I've always looked at you guys as heroes, and I know a lot of the kids I grew up with did as well. I feel like over the last couple of decades, that's faded a little bit for whatever reasons. And, man, I'm committed along with a lot of other local people to try to bring that patriotism and that love for our heroes back. So I absolutely love what you guys do. I feel like, though, it's kind of a well-kept secret. I mean, I remember the Goofy movie, the Police Academy movie when I was a kid, right? But I've got to be honest, man, I don't know that I've heard mention of a youth program or anything like that. And gosh, maybe since, and maybe I wasn't listening, but to that point, man, what do you think our community out here can do to get this message out for us? That it's not just for, troubled kids. It's
Right.
for kids that they just, man, they still look at you guys as heroes and they want to be you someday. How does the community help you guys?
Well, we still utilize the media every year. We start accepting the camp this year starts on July 13th. That's check-in day. That they'll run that Sunday, then they'll graduate that Saturday. We usually put out a media blitz in May, and then we accept applications. And by the way, all of this, 6 days, 6 nights, 3 meals a day, all the education and educational things we do with them, field trips, life skills that they're going to learn, life lessons. It's only $20. And actually, if the parent guardian can't afford it, we end up paying it. All of this is only $20
For a week.
For a week, $20.
You folks hearing this? $20 to put your youth or maybe a friend or family member's youth through this program that might help them with a little bit of discipline. It might help them with a little bit of respect, not just for our law enforcement, but for you guys too.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
Yeah, $20.
I didn't realize that you could make that much of a difference in a human being's life for $20.
$20. Yes. But getting back to your question about the how can the community help? Just spread the word and spread the word. The more the merrier. We usually stop at about 70 or 80 kids. But if you know any kids out there that need some discipline, need some structure, you can send them our way. I'll leave my email address. I'll email you an application.
And so, people at large, if they wanted to make a donation, they would just email you, or is there a link?
Yes. We don't, the camp doesn't operate off any state funding. We operate solely off of, donations. And as you can expect, it is quite pricey that, host 70 kids at a college, Principia College in Elsa, Illinois is where we have the camp at, off the River Road. So yeah, we open for donations too.
And so, hey, everybody, the Home Foundation is going to be making a $500 donation.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would love it if you guys would maybe open your wallets and help as well, because, man, I don't know anybody that wouldn't admit this is a wonderful program, a great program, not just for our youth today, but for our community. And it is a well-kept secret. What should everybody out there do to spread the word about you guys? Is there a website? Is there someplace they can go for details? Or I guess worst case, you can give me some information. I can post it in the link down below.
Or the State Police Facebook page. And actually, we're going to put our media release up next week about the youth camp. So we have X and Facebook. So all the details and who to contact will be on our website the early part of next week. And also, I want to add, we have several success stories. So many kids have ended up in the military. We actually just had the first youth camper, Marquise Jones. He attended the camp in 07, 08, 2009, did junior ROTC at Cahokia High School, graduated Cahokia High School, went on into the Army, became a military police officer there, then worked for Ferguson Police Department, St. Charles County, most recently Swansea. And as of about 3 weeks ago, he graduated the Illinois State Police Academy. So he's our first youth camper to actually become a state trooper. And actually, if you're into college football, the Georgia wide receiver, he started out at Mizzou for 2 years, and he transferred to Georgia. Dominic Lovett, who they're anticipating him getting drafted here in a week or two for the NFL, had an excellent season at the University of Georgia. He attended the camp 2 years in a row. So,
man, he's somebody I would love to interview.
He's.
So, I mean, what a transformation! Goodness,
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible, man.
Mm-hmm. Is it so you've heard of Dominic Lovett? Yeah, yep. Went to West and East St. Louis. Yes, his mom just texted me, inviting me. They're having a draft party for him. But I'm pretty sure he'll do an interview. Yeah, he did the camp 2 years in a row. And not just me, several of us still keep in contact with him. And when he was in high school, well, I gotta share this story now. So him and I didn't see eye to eye. The first year we did at the camp, then the second year he was supposed to, you've already been through the program. You're a role model. He was acting up more than anyone there. And we were going back and forth. So about 2 years later, I'm doing a driver's ed presentation at a high school, and I feel a tap right here, and I turn around, and it's Dominic Lovett. And my first thought was, this kid can't stand me from the camp. This is verbatim what I'm thinking. And he gives me a big smile. And I said, okay, he's not mad. So we're walking through the halls. He's a high school freshman. We're walking through the halls, and one of the football coaches says, I'm in uniform like this, says, how do you know Lovett? I said, he attended our camp, and he says, oh, he's really good at football. So I'm not really buying it. I'm like, Lovett? And he says, yeah. So I go down. I knew the head football coach. I go in his office, and I've got Lovett with me. And I said, is he? They're saying he's good. He goes, oh, yeah, he's going to be big time next year. And I said, does he still act out and have a talk back? And the football coach looks me right in the eyes and goes, yes, he does, but he's worth the maintenance. And so his sophomore year, the high school the coach had me come talk to the team about choices, decision making, and they tell me, Lovett's a sophomore on varsity. He'll get a little time at wide receiver, and he's going to be our kickoff return man. So his first game, I'm working the DuQuoin State Fair, and I tell him, I said, hey, if you score a touchdown, because the coaches are saying he's just going to be average this year. He'll be good the next 2 years. I said, if you score a touchdown, I said, I'll remember what I offered him. I said, I'll take you to a steakhouse or whatever. And as I'm working the DuQuoin State Fair, my phone is blowing up. And I had forgot about the guy. I mean, he's a sophomore. The coaches are saying, he's barely going to play. And I got 8 messages from people that said, Lovett took the opening kickoff, 91 yards for a touchdown. I scrolled down. He just caught a 50-yard, 4 touchdowns.
4?
His first game as a sophomore on varsity. Later that night, he texted me, I like Ruth Chris.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
That's a true story.
Did he get the biggest stick?
Oh yeah, he did. Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm very proud of him. And he's actually came back to the camp and spoke at the graduation.
Wow. That's incredible, man. And dude, I really appreciate you coming on, because it's one thing to think about a person or think about their job, but when you get to know somebody's heart, boy, does it make a difference. And I would imagine for a lot of your youth, that's probably what they're going through. They had a certain narrative most of their life.
Yeah.
Generally, in a lot of cases with youth, it's not good about you guys.
Right. Yes, that's true too.
So I believe there's more than one truth always. The truth of who he was when he was a young man, the truth of who he is 5 or 10 years later. And also his truths changed, because when you first met you, the man didn't like you because you were out to get him. You were this, you were, all those things that was in his head. And that was true for him. Those were facts for him in that time. Whether we like it or not, those were his facts. Now you fast forward a number of years later, you're the same man. He's the same man. But the facts have changed.
Yes. Yeah.
The old facts it's not that they're no longer facts. It was true to him.
Yeah.
But now he has a new truth.
And I forgot about this part. I just talked to his dad last night. He called me, and it made me feel good. You see, I'm kind of getting emotional. He thanked me because once I saw him that day, I was there presenting the driver's ed. We stayed in touch, and his mother would call me all throughout high school. 4 or 5 times, you need to go talk to him. And I would go up to the school, and they'd let me in, and they'd let me pull him out of and he'd walk out with his head. I'm like, what's going on? And no, his dad called me yesterday and said, I haven't forgot how much you did for him, and you stuck with my son. And when we hung up, his father told me he loved me. This was just last night.
Wow, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's progress, right? Wow.
And I'm not by any means bragging. I'm just letting people know that's why all the officers that work these camps do it. I'm not the only one that has a Dominic Lovett story that works the youth camp, because we also have a camp in the state police puts on in Carbondale, Illinois, Springfield, and up north in Chicago. And every one of the officers that work those camps have success stories like these.
Wow. Well, everybody, I'll tell you, whether you go out to the state police website, or if you just want to reach out to me, the Home Foundation, or through the Shoemaker Loan Team, if you're interested in helping these guys with some support, I mean, we're not talking you have to give $1,000. I mean, if $20 is what it costs to put a youth through this program, guys, $20 helps, $5 helps, $10 helps. We don't care if you can only afford $1, man. Get a hold of me. I'll give you a place where you can Venmo or send a check or whatever. But if this is in your heart, please reach out. Now, does your team, do you need any volunteers, or is it just financial help that you guys need?
It would depend on what their expertise is. If it's something that we think the kids can benefit from, like if there's someone that teaches at a trade school, or just something where we think the kids can benefit, to come talk to them, absolutely. Because our schedule is very, very packed. From 5:30, they go from 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. and it's hard to squeeze stuff in. But we always have extra time after they eat lunch. Where we'll squeeze somebody into. This year, I think an attorney from the DEA, or I don't want to misspeak, one of those federal agencies is coming to talk to him during lunch. And then we have retired Judge Annette Eckert that's over the teen court here in St. Clair County, who served as a juvenile judge for years. She comes and talks to him at lunch. We've had Senator Christopher Belt has came and spoken with them before. So I try to get as many resources as I possibly can. Brian Cox, a retired NFL football player, came and spoke with him. I mean, coming from poverty and having plenty of siblings. The legendary Jackie Joyner Kersey spoke at one of their graduations, and that's probably the most inspirational speech I've ever heard in my life. I gotta say it. She started out with, I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois, and when where I was from in the 80s, it was the murder capital of the United States. And she said, by the numbers, I'm supposed to have multiple kids. I'm supposed to be a high school dropout. I'm supposed to be 50% illiterate. And she said, but I'm none of those things. Oh, and that was her opening statement. And she told why she's not any of those things. And she didn't listen to what people said when they told her she could never make it out. She said, it all starts with you.
Yeah. I had somebody tell me once that the story you tell yourself the most is the one you believe the most.
Yes.
The one you believe the most is the one you become.
Yes.
And so I think sometimes with the youth especially, they've got a story in their head, and their whole life they've been told either you can or you can't, you will or you won't. And they've had all this ingrained in their head. They've been told no over 5,000 times by the time they're 2 years old. Don't do that. You're going to hurt yourself. And, it all of a sudden starts being their narrative. And sometimes you just got to tell a little different story.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you got to get around people who have a little bit of a different story so they can then become yours.
And you hear some of these kids' stories. I hate to keep marching to the same beat, but, just getting abused at home every day when they come home from school, or the no food. And then they have to go to school and they don't have any clothes, or they don't have good hygiene. And I mean, you talk about victims of circumstances. Who wouldn't be mad, at the world, if if that's your life every day. You come home and like you're getting verbally abused, you're getting physically abused, you're getting told you're dumb, you're stupid. No one's showing you love. Yeah, it's just so it's really unfortunate when some of them have to go back to that environment. Obviously, us being police officers, there have been times where the kids have told us the stories, and then yes, we have to like call somebody from our investigations unit or DCFS or whatever resources to investigate. But some of these kids are just really dealt from the start some very bad cards.
Yeah, that's so true, man. I hate to hear that so bad every time I do, but I think out of most tragedies, there's at least opportunity for something really amazing. And I think that when you have that child that thought that, things weren't going to improve, they thought that everybody was against them. But then they really do something special. Jackie Joyner Kersey, every week.
Right.
The reality is I think people are capable of a whole lot more than they could ever dream of. And I think also, no matter what you've done, every waking moment is another chance to turn it all around.
Right.
Because you've stolen something doesn't make you a thief forever.
Right.
You're a thief now.
Right.
You don't have to continue that behavior.
Right. Exactly. I agree. Yeah, there are some. Yeah, that's what we try to emphasize to the kids is your situation. Use it as motivation to become something and prove all your critics wrong. I mean, I'm not in their shoes. I know it's not easy, easier said than done. But, like you just said, some people use that to get out and to become successful. So we stress that to them, like, don't use your situation as an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, no matter where you are, somebody somewhere else went through where.
No, exactly. Exactly. You're right.
Had a hard time believing that for a long time. But when you start searching, looking at the world and not just following what the headlines say, and there are a lot of kids going, they don't have shoes. They don't have underwear. There are so many people.
Or they have a handicap.
Yeah, such terrible stuff. And they still don't give up. They still don't quit, Man, it's been really awesome getting to know you. Like I said, it's one thing to see the uniform. Behind every one of those uniforms is a real human being. And I think it's always good for everybody to see that. What I mean, I think sometimes we see that shield or that badge and whatever, and we forget that you guys are human. We forget that you have kids at home if you want to come home to. So, man, I've really enjoyed getting to know you, and it's obvious how much you care about the program. Any final words you'd like to say to the audience out there about the program or how they can help or anything you want to end with today?
Most importantly, I just want to thank you for having me on and having me, tell the who, what, when, where, why about the camp. And like you said, I'm sure it shows my passion. But the only thing I'd ask the community, if you know any kids that can benefit from this camp, like I say, you can go to our website next week. We'll have a press release out and you'll be able to contact me or somebody from our agency for an application. But I appreciate you taking the time and having me on to tell the youth camp story.
No worries, man. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys and what you do, and it means a lot. So, hey, everybody, the Home Foundation today is going to make a $500 donation to help.
Thanks for that. Thanks for
I would really appreciate it if any of you out there would match that $500. Heck, do $5. Whatever you can do, we would really appreciate it. We'll have some information down below for you. And keep in mind, the Home Foundation stands for the Heroes of the Metro East. And a couple of our main goals are, one, we want to connect with folks that are military, law enforcement, firefighters, or prior, that are now in kind of referral-based businesses. Maybe they do lawn care, an electrician, whatever. Out of 25 years of being in the mortgage industry, I've got thousands of clients that are always looking for some kind of help. Like I said, lawn care, financial planners, you name it. I would always rather support somebody who was a prior law enforcement person, military or firefighter, than anybody else. So if that's you or you know somebody who fits that criteria, make sure and reach out to us. We like to make donations to local 501c3s that support military, law enforcement, and firefighters. So if you know of a local cause, kind of like what Master Sergeant Dye's been on here talking about today, I would love to meet you. I'd love to hear more, and hopefully we can support you guys as well. You have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to talking to all of you soon.